All right, everybody. It looks as though we have a nice kind of tame slate with respect to news. Now, with that said, maybe some things compiling um, in the next couple of minutes. Let me just fire this off and going live. One thing that did come in, which I'm going to have to deal with, is to what extent we want to deal with Dinwiddie being out. Oh, there's Bobby. Hey, what's up, Bobby?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
So the one bit of news that just came trickling in that I guess I couldn't get off completely easy was Dinwiddie being out.
Yeah, I think I had that earlier.
Oh, I had that in there already. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
oh, I do. I have Neto. I have Neto as one of the better, better values anyway. Okay.
Yeah. So it's kind of. I mean, it's a small slate. Obviously, there's a lot of I think you have to just try to get weird with the slate. I really do. I think that playing. I don't buy the ownership. Where do you see ownership on Neto, for example?
20.
Is it really?
Well, they have to update that. I have it 10%. You know what I mean? Like,
I've got it like at 3% on there over here.
Yeah.
But I just am not buying that. Like, there is other value, but it does, make sense to string some of that value together. And I think to play KD and Embiid, I do think the line is a little bit suspicious and it's creeping. Well, it's actually crept back towards Philly now, but they were 1-point underdogs. Now they're 2-point favorites. I don't know. I do think that playing KD and Durant is probably what I'm going to do. How about you? What are you thinking in terms of?
You mean Durant? You mean Durant and Embiid?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, Durant and Embiid.
Yeah, you said KD and Durant, and yeah, that'd be nice. I currently am not playing Embiid. That's where I am right now.
Yeah.
I can't argue, give a good argument why I'm not, except for the fact the other guys that I can get in instead. That's the best I can describe that. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna play any KCP tonight?
No.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna play any KCP either.
Yeah.
I
understand. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say I'm gonna be forcing him out, I believe.
I may put him into a lineup for two in a smaller, like just he may end up in something. So I don't want to say there's no way I will. I just think it's a little too chalky. Yeah, maybe it's a little bit of a boost with Dinwiddie out, but we've seen these stories so many times with him before where he's failed. And honestly, like even if he gets 20, there's other guys around in his price range that are going to go there. I'm still going to play. I'm going to do what I planned on doing, and that's playing Cam Thomas. There's no reason things have to work out the way that they did last time in this game, and I think that the projections are not going to like him, and that's fine with me. I think that you want to try and get exposure to that game. I mean, what happens if Duke picks up 2 quick fouls right away, or Kessler Edwards, just completely basically does nothing. I mean, I just think Cam Thomas is a really good way to get a little bit different while staying in that Brooklyn game. And now, look, I'm not saying he's going to always go nuts here, but he had his worst game like in a long time, and that happened to be without Harden. That doesn't seem like it makes a lot of sense. And obviously, he was projected to play like 35 minutes the other night. He played 22. And it's partly because Kessler Edwards and Duke were playing really well. That doesn't need to be the case, and I am happy to switch back onto the Cam Thomas train. If he's going well, it's going to work out well. If he's not, I'll suck it up. I need to try and find somebody to get different. And I'd rather do it with a guy like Cam Thomas than, obviously it wouldn't be getting different, but I'd rather play Cam Thomas than a KCP where Cam Thomas could literally score like 45 fantasy points tonight, and it wouldn't be surprising the least bit. And I just don't think people are doing that. So that's something I want to do. I'm also playing Chris Duarte a pretty good amount, who's not going to have much ownership as well. I think there's a lot of upside for him in terms of his projected minutes. And he's another one that could shoot himself into a big game. So that's what I'm doing with my lower spends. I'm also going to play one of Duke or Kessler, but probably not have them together a ton. I have a little bit of a lean towards Duke, but I think that it's fine to go either direction. And I'm seeing a lot of spread out ownership from what I'm looking at. And I just don't buy that it's going to be that spread out. Like KD at 50%. Don't you think he ends up more like 80%?
I think he's going to be 80%.
Yeah, me too. And at least in the high buy and stuff. And I think there's a justification, there's a logical way you can fade him. You probably need to overspend for some other guys if you want to do it right, or you could play the Knicks game stack with Houston. Play Gordon, Tate, and Sengun, and then on the other side playing Rose, Burks, and Randall or something like that. That's a way you can avoid him. But I personally am probably going to eat most of the Durant chalk, although I will try to fade him in some of the larger field stuff.
You know which guy we didn't talk about in the early show, and I haven't heard his name mentioned once, and he keeps showing up on my runs based on projections. And I know why he's showing up, but did you ever look at this Miles McBride?
Yeah. Don't know how I feel about it, to be honest with you. Yeah.
I know how I feel about it. So this is the way it kind of like prompted me to have this discussion. So the reason why he's showing up is because in his last game he played 20 minutes, right? And so what projection systems are doing, they're giving him 20 minutes, right? 20 to 22 minutes, and the thing is, again, for better or worse, that's become kind of my hobby. Is like studying these projections, where they come from, and how the industry does whatever. And there's so much, I don't want to say recency bias in the wrong way, but also there's so much recency bias in projections, right? If everybody's just going to presume that so much of it is weighted towards the last game, and in some sense it should be, but in some sense it so totally depends on like the environment. Like you had a really good example with the Josh Christopher, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That, I mean, it's not going to show up today, but the projection systems will naturally look at its last game and just presume in some sense that that's going to happen again. And likewise, you'll get well, even the Sengun, which is kind of interesting, because even him, I mean, he played whatever the minutes he did, but it wasn't supposed to happen that way. The game blew out, and that's just how it happened.
Well, I think he would have played the 20, because he's been even with Wood, he's been playing in the 20 to 24 range a lot of the time.
And that's a little different because he's also actually good. You know what I mean?
He's really productive. He's their rookie. They like, yeah.
But just the point is that oh shit, I forgot where I was in this process. The point is that don't get sucked like this Miles Bridges guy, not Miles Bridges, whatever his name is, the Miles McDaniel, whatever his name is, Miles Bridges. I'm just not going to do it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah,
I'm not going to presume he's going to play. He could play zero. He could play zero today.
He could legitimately play zero, and that's just another reason why I want to play Quickly, for example, because Quickly is being projected for 26 minutes, and we know he could play 36 minutes. Yeah. These things are very fluid, and we see it happen all the time. And they have plenty of guards, so to play an extra guard there when you have like you're overloaded at guard just feels like a little bit of. I actually think Christopher would probably be more in play for me than McBride, but I don't think I need to go to either of them. Now, would it surprise me if one of them beats me? Sure, that might happen, but I don't think that's something I would rather play a guy who I know is going to get minutes and has actually been productive at times in the past in this situation, and that's Neto. That's what I would rather do than those guys.
Did you?
And I would rather Aaron Holiday even.
Yeah. Did you ever revisit the Detroit guys?
Yeah, but I think Frank Jackson is probably the better one. Yeah, I think Frank Jackson's like a fine play. I think Sadiq Bey is a solid play. I think Diallo is a fine. We've seen Diallo go nuts sometimes in these spots. No one's playing Killian Hayes, and I think he's got some upside. But they have a lot of bodies. They still have Saban Lee there. They're going to divide up these other minutes that are out with no Joseph and all that stuff. And they've got, Cade Cunningham, who's going to take up a lot of the usage. Obviously, no Jeremy Grant does open up that other spot. But maybe, look, if you're playing the giant field tournaments, especially if he's not starting, because if he starts, we all know that everybody's favorite play will become Josh Jackson. But if he's not starting, no one's going to play him. And we've seen him perform at times when this has been the case. So I'll take a long shot Josh Jackson play there. I'll take a low owned Killian Hayes. I'll take a lowish owned Diallo. But I don't think that they're great plays. I feel like a lot of these guys rate out to be really similar. And I still, oh, look, here we go. And there's news. Malcolm Brogdon ruled out. So
Really?
I told you I was expecting somebody from the Pacers to sit.
Well, it's so funny that you say that, because I was just about to say that on FanDuel I have 100% LeVert.
Yeah, and I think that's fine. I'm a little worried about LeVert too on the back-to-back, which is sort of what led me to Duarte in the first place. I think Duarte and LeVert are both really strong plays. I think LeVert is now a strong play on DraftKings, by the way.
Yeah.
And he's expensive over there, but that makes a lot of sense. I also am kind of regretting my Domantas Sabonis under 5 assists now, because they're going to run him as the point forward like they always do. I don't know who they'll move into the starting lineup. My guess is it'll probably be like a guy like, I don't know, it could be a Torrey Craig or O'Shea Brissett. And those guys would be fine, but really the usage is going to come from Duarte, LeVert, Sabonis, and I guess to some lesser extent, Miles Turner.
Right.
So we're going to have to get that one out. Yeah, we got the Brogdon then. And yeah, I'm saying what's up in the chat. And Brian Brooks asked the question that I think is important. If I play Cam Thomas, would I exclude Duke from that lineup? No, I wouldn't do that. I think that there's no reason they can't play together. And I do think he's probably a better play alongside Kessler, I guess. But I think that you can play both of them and it's completely fine. These things are fluid, as like we talked about. It's not like you need a true point guard anyway. And all of these guys kind of play combo guard positions. Duke, Thomas, Kessler's a forward, but sort of similar-ish. And Kevin Durant is basically you're running your offense with him, and then Patty Mills is also a real point guard or a point-ish guard. So you have a lot of combo guards. I don't think you have to rule those guys out together.
Yeah, I mean the thing is there's only 8 people on the eligible to play, and
Right.
when you have only 8 people eligible to play, I think all those, with the exception of like those, and we dealt with this with, I forget who it was we dealt with last
year. Are we sure about that, by the way? Are we sure that Langston Galloway can't play tonight?
No.
I think there's a chance he does, and that could muck things up a little bit. He's not going to show up on the thing.
He's a guy I want to play, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, and I mean, they just signed them, right? Like, we have no idea what's going to happen with that situation, but I think he's going to be able to play. I don't think he's in the player pool, so maybe that's why the projections don't have him. But at least on DraftKings, I don't think he is. Let me just make sure that. Yeah, he's not on DraftKings in the player pool, and on FanDuel, I don't believe he is. But I don't think you'd want to. You don't need to go that low on FanDuel anyway.
So who starts for Indiana? Indiana now? Would it be is McConnell still in Indiana, or is he in Philly? I keep forgetting.
No, McConnell's in Indiana, but he's not active right now. So LeVert just goes back to his point guard role. Duarte can sort of handle enough of the point guard duties, and you're probably going to see Justin Holiday or O'Shea Brissett would be my guess. And I don't think that I'm okay with it, but I think where the ownership will, if it goes to Holiday, we all know that Justin Holiday is not a guy you generally want to play. He's when he's playing the 35 minutes, he fits the same mold as a guy like KCP, although less offensively pretty useful unless he just happens to bang in a bunch of threes. So it's going to matter more that for me in relation to Duarte, LeVert, and if it's Brissett, I guess there's some merit to maybe doing, but I don't see why they would play Brissett as a big guy that much. So I'm guessing it would be Holiday, but I'm just speculating. We'll get the lineup before because it's the first game. It could make Keelan Martin kind of interesting. That could be a play, that, especially if he's not starting, because if he does start, he's going to get some ownership, and he's 3,100. He certainly makes some sense. They might start Wanamaker also, and Wanamaker, we've seen every side of this guy. I've seen him put up 50 fantasy points in one of these spots when he was with the Celtics. I saw him put up literally in like 35 minutes. He'd have like 2 fantasy points for the game. And so I have seen that.
I have definitely seen that variation.
Yeah, so it's a big question. Yeah, I think Galloway can play. Like that's what James DeVere. I can never pronounce your last name, buddy. But I think that Galloway can play tonight, and that might muck up a little bit of this Brooklyn stuff. Maybe we don't need to cram all of the value from Brooklyn in. I still think they're good. They're good plays, but it doesn't mean these guys, like, if he plays 20 minutes, then you can definitely count on everybody else, because they definitely don't projected. And I think that's just because he's not on the. I think it's because he's not in the player pool. Yeah. So anyway, let's see who is starting. I hope they should announce it pretty soon. Usually, if they're going to announce somebody out, I still have a feeling we're going to hear more news tonight. There's going to be something weird that comes along that it could be with on the Wizards side. I wouldn't say it's going to happen, but it's not a 0% chance that Holiday, that Beal doesn't start. Neto may end up starting, in which case he'll be popular because people will pivot from Holiday. And I think you want to play whichever one's possibly on the bench, because I think that you're going to get just such lower ownership on those two guys in that later game. But as it goes with the first game, I'd like to see a starting lineup before I make my final decisions, because I am curious what they're going to do. It's a little tough to speculate at the moment. Project Mayhem has made a joke that I actually agree with, though. I think Bertans is actually in play here. We all know that they are paying him a ton of money. It's the second of a back-to-back, so some of the other guys have played a bunch of minutes last night. He didn't play a ton. He did just come back from injury. It wouldn't surprise me if he barely played at all. But talk about a guy who can. He can really shoot it. Like, we just saw it a couple of games ago. What did he put up? He put up 33 2 games ago, and that was with everybody healthy in Washington. So why couldn't Bertans be the guy who sort of surprised everybody? He's actually in one of my original builds. I think that maybe we don't need him as much anymore. Maybe we don't.
What happened to him? Has he just been out of the rotation?
He's been injured, and they like Abdia. They drafted Abdia high, and they like him. So, but they have a lot of bodies in Washington, so it's not like he needs to play all the minutes. But I do think there is some merit to giving him a look. Kuzma just coming back he'll play on the back-to-back, knowing Kuzma the way that he usually does. But there's always a chance that one of these guys sits. Yeah. Anyway, I love Montrezl Harrell, by the way, tonight as a play. I really, really like him.
I have him. I have him a decent amount, actually.
Yeah, he's in my main lineup on FanDuel, and I decided to fade Sengun over there. Makes me nervous, but I'm going to roll with it. So
I have him.
It is hard.
I have him in my main lineup over there as well.
Yeah.
I'm fading Fangool over there also.
Yeah, it's funny because everybody, they may start Wanamaker. They don't need to. They could literally start one of 5 guys. They could start Jeremy Lamb, who hasn't been playing. They could start Torrey Craig. You know what I mean? In Indy, they've got a million bodies that could potentially start. I'm not saying that those guys are bad plays. I'm just saying that any of the Indy starters, I don't know if they're good enough plays to equal what their ownership may end up being.
I'll tell you, I like Cameron Payne.
I love that play.
Yeah, I mentioned him before.
There goes my sneaky Duarte play.
Yeah, it sure does, doesn't it?
It's gonna.
Not that it's a bad play, but now it's just not sneaky.
No, yeah, he's just gonna be owned a bunch, and he's really good. So he's a favorite play, no matter who's starting or not in Indy, but he was already anyway.
Okay.
Sabonis is another thing you could do though. Now I think Sabonis is a more viable pivot off of or playing in addition to KD than he was, because when they use him as that sort of point forward role, we saw this guy rack up triple doubles left and right, last year, and in these kind of situations when Brogdon was out. So I do think Sabonis is a much stronger play than he was. And maybe that game stays a little bit closer now. Unfortunately, I did have one of my bets, which I would take back, but I still think there's a chance they cover. I just don't think it's a great bet anymore.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, currently, by the way, some of the Indiana stuff's starting to update, and the first guy that's popping is the guy you mentioned, would be Brad Wanamaker.
Yeah, I don't know that I don't know that I want to get involved in that personally. I might have a little bit of it, but I don't think that's what we need to do.
Right.
Questions about Maxey coming in. Maxey played 42 minutes last night, and I don't want to play Maxey after playing 42 minutes at 6,900. That's my answer to that one.
That makes sense. And the other guy who's showing up is a guy who we haven't, I don't even know if he still played, was Jeremy Lamb.
That's what we don't even, we need to, we're speculating. I think we need to start a lineup before we can get because
I would want to play who's starting.
Yeah, or maybe then you can get lower ownership on maybe O'Shea Brissett could still get an extra minutes. I think Keelan Martin has a chance to play more minutes tonight. those guys would be the long shot tournament plays for me if they're not starting. If they are starting, everybody will be on them.
Right.
Yeah, I don't have the updated one projections going right now, so yeah, it is weird that Bertans was in the first lineup I built today. I was like, am I really going to do this? Because you know me, I like to get weird on these little slates. I just think it makes sense. I didn't want to play Neto and Holiday together, so I thought Bertans was a good way to get a little different. But yeah, so it's a weird little slate. I do think the Embiid, people are worried about him on the back-to-back. Now, if he's playing, I don't care. I just don't know how anyone in Brooklyn can match up with him. I don't care about it being a back-to-back. I just don't care. I know he played 37 minutes. Are they going to limit him? They need to win games, by the way, and they can't win any games. So they won the one game they won recently. Oh, I guess they beat Golden State, and then they beat Charlotte before that. But I don't know. I think that they're gonna, assuming Embiid plays, this is their matchup, right? Like this is supposed to be two of the best teams in the East. I can't see why they wouldn't just force feed Embiid the ball and let him sort of do his thing if he does play. So
yeah, it's going to be De'Aaron Fox has gone into protocols.
Westbrook too. After saving the Lakers last night.
Pacers. Torrey Craig is available. Okay.
Yeah, he's a potential. Torrey Craig, talk about the weird. They showed there was one of those little sports sites, and they showed Torrey Craig in one game this year. I think he had like 55 fantasy points or something crazy. I don't remember what it was. This was a nuts game. And then game where he played like 30 something minutes and literally didn't take a shot. It had 3 fantasy.
I know those games.
Yeah, that's more the Torrey Craig we're familiar with. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they could start another point guard just to fill the Brogdon role. I don't know why they would. If I was them, I wouldn't do that, but they probably will. Let's see.
I think you're going to find. Oh, maybe not. Maybe the Wanamaker is not going to be as. Everybody's just waiting for the starters to be announced.
Yeah, it's really hard to know what to do.
And that game is at 7, right? So
Yeah.
We'd like to. Now, what was the game the other day? I saw that Osmo posted about this the other day, last night. Did it happen that they announced starters and then started somebody else, one team?
It's happened a couple times recently. Yeah. Well, I mean, Embiid, that was a big one. He was announced as starting. Right. He was out on the court, and then he went back into the locker room.
Oh, maybe that's what he was. Maybe he was being sarcastic. Maybe that's what he meant. Okay.
It could have been, yeah. I like this Killian Hayes idea a little bit. I have to say, I think there's upside there. I'm one of the rare few people out there who really believes this guy's actually good. But I know I'm not. I know I'm in a minority on that one. He's just young.
Yeah.
But without Jeremy Grant, that there should be usage to go around. And it's not one thing I love about the other guy that I really, really respect about what's his name, Cade Cunningham, is he doesn't have like a selfish bone in his body. Like he doesn't play a selfish game. So it leaves guys like that completely viable. I'm going to have Bertans in a lineup tonight. It's just, I think it's interesting. We just went through that DFS will pack. We do like Neto.
I'll tell you what they're going to do. They're going to start Justin Holiday, probably.
That's what I would have assumed they would do. That's been their MO in the past.
It's going to go Duarte, Holiday, Turner, LeVert, and Sabonis.
Yeah, that's what makes the most sense to me. Because LeVert and Sabonis, LeVert and Duarte both play like full court point guard type players, right. And Sabonis is your point guard, your point forward in the court. So you don't really need another bring the ball up. If you could have one, they could do it. It is a back-to-back for them, so
right.
Anything's possible. But right now, I am currently like just very heavy on the Sixers and what's it called, Zach. And I love this. I love this quickly idea. Like we got him the other night on a 3-game set. I know he didn't get there, but it's just about how he plays and how they do while he's in the game. Like if Quickly gets going, he can really put up a number. So I'm going to take my shots there and try to fade some of the Rose chalk and the Burks chalk, even though I like both of those guys very much. I just would rather try to get different on the 4-game slate. No, they're starting to update some projections that I'm looking at, and let's see what else we got.
Yeah, I'm doing that right now, literally live for everybody.
Yeah.
Just,
Hey, Jeremiah. Yeah, I do like Duarte more, obviously, but like the thing that sucks is that everybody likes him more. So it was a sneaky play that's turning into a chalky play, which is a little frustrating. What's up, John Jenkins? I love to play John Jenkins made last. He played Embiid at, I think Embiid ended up at he said 0.87% ownership. I know it didn't work out, but it doesn't matter. You get those kind of situations on those big slates, and there's no reason Embiid couldn't put up the biggest number on the slate. I think those kind of plays are really, really how you win tournaments. I mean,
well, I mean,
I had the 85. Go ahead.
No, and I still say that that the ability to actually project ownerships is more important than the ability to project points.
Absolutely. And it's also much, much worse. People are much worse at doing it.
Yeah.
Even the ceilings they write on people, I'm like, all the ceilings are completely off. Like I think I saw that Kessler's ceiling the other night. They had it at like 15. He put up 40. Like,
yeah. What about the second half?
Right. Exactly. Boy, this is interesting though, this Indiana situation. But I still think that we don't want to go overly crazy with it. Like, be a little bit careful. Remember, they've got a lot of bodies. They can play a lot of different guys. But back to back, they probably will do that anyway, especially if they're controlling the game. So be a little bit careful with it. That's all I would say.
And who do they play?
Detroit.
Yeah, I mean, keep also in mind that, I mean, Brogdon out. I mean, it's no guarantee that they control the game either.
Yeah. No, right, absolutely. But they even still, I think you're going to see a lot of body. I think you're going to see 10 guys play for them tonight. Maybe more. Maybe 11 or 12. So they have plenty of bodies that can play. I got to find a way to get Josh Jackson into a lineup because it's too much my MO. You know what I mean? Like, I always play Josh Jackson on these weird little things.
What do the kids say for the brand?
Yeah, for the brands, right? Jackson. Well, Josh Jackson has the weirdest. You never know what position. You look for him at point guard, and then he's at power forward only. He's at small forward only. Sometimes he's at shooting guard. You never know what position you're going to get Josh Jackson. Looks like I played Duke there, and Jackson. Jackson. I really like Nick Claxton tonight, by the way. It's obviously a tough matchup. If he doesn't foul out, or he should play until he fouls out. Like, if they're going to try and put Blake Griffin on Joel Embiid, what the hell is he going to do? And by the way, he's going to beat the hell out of Claxton too. That's why I like the Embiid play so much. And I like specifically that Claxton and Embiid together, because then you end up, using those two spots in a way that I think is productive. Let's see. Some notification. Christian Wood is out. We knew that.
Thank God. I mean, imagine if, like, all of a sudden they said, "Oh, Wood available."
Yeah, exactly. I know. It'd be annoying. I did start my prize picks thing today. I did play a bunch of prize picks.
Oh, awesome.
I haven't done that yet. Yeah, I think I need to do that more of that, because it really is good too, and it makes you realize, like, I mean, some of the lines are crazy. Like Alec Burks was like at 14.5 points tonight, I think, and then at fantasy points he was like under 30 at one point. I think something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was some crazy number that I was just like, wow, how is that possibly the median here?
Well, it's not the median. Remember, sometimes they give you bad odds. Sometimes they give you 2-1 on picking two right.
Yeah. That's true. That's fair enough. Let's see if there's any more questions in here.
All right, so I've just updated the projections here, and I'm going to update them on the site. Yeah, Brissett looks like a really good play.
Jeremiah saying about Embiid, I want to say real quickly that I don't think that Embiid is going to be lower owned or higher owned than Sabonis. I think they're going to be very similarly owned. I actually think there's a chance Sabonis may end up being higher owned than Embiid.
You think so?
What are you showing up for Sabonis' ownership and Embiid's ownership?
Give me one sec.
I would bet it's around 20 for each of them.
for hang on. Embiid versus Sabonis. I had Sabonis only 20. I had them both around 15.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I would have thought. The EFS Wolfpack is asking to pick two of Saban Lee, Hayes, Neto, and Aaron Holiday. Not together. I would say Neto, Holiday make the most sense. Neto and Hayes is what I'm doing. Holiday and Hayes is what I'm doing. I'm doing those two. But I think those that I don't unless Saban Lee is announced starting tonight, I am not going to play any Saban Lee. I understand it; it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I would rather play the other guys personally. He did put up 41 fantasy points the last time he played and had a huge usage rate. So maybe I should think about it a little harder. But I personally like the other guys a little bit better. And I feel like the Detroit situation, they have just a lot of bodies. You're going to get Josh Jackson minutes. You're going to get Frank Jackson minutes. You're going to get Rodney Magruder minutes. You're going to get,
Rodney Magruder. That's Rodney Magruder.
I'm not playing him
in a long time.
Yeah, he's going to play though. I'm just saying, just talk about guys who's going to eat up some minutes. Here's the question: who you guys got winning the football game tonight? I actually have a less of a take on this than I normally do, but I'm going to go Chiefs. That's what I like the Chiefs, and I like the Chiefs to cover. But I think that it's going to be a good game, and I think you're going to get a lot of fantasy production tonight. So that one guy just scoring the one touchdown may not be enough for a really cheap guy. You might need all of your players to be in double digits. I think you're going to see a ton of fantasy points. I mean, this game was on the Sunday to be the game we'd all be targeting.
Right.
Yeah. Nicholas Dunbar loves Randall. I don't love Randall personally. So I don't think that's everyone else loves him. Let's see him. Look at his projected. He's fine. So yeah, he's 24%. Nothing crazy. I'm playing Embiid. I'm just saying this. Embiid will be in my main lineup on DraftKings for sure, unless he's out. So I shouldn't say for sure. I might have to run to finish my lineups, and also I have not eaten a single thing, so I'm trying to. My food just got here, so I'm going to grab something.
How's your arm? How's your arm?
It hurts, man. I don't know what's done with it. What's going to happen with it yet? I didn't end up going to the doctor today, but I'm going to go Saturday and get an X-ray and stuff like that. But we'll see. I took some painkillers, so it's a little bit better at the moment. But anyway, guys, sorry, go ahead.
No, nothing.
So this is what happens. You forget and you start scratching your head, and it's like. Ugh.
So I'm gonna update my lineups here. I'll let you guys know what my ownerships are and things like that, and then we'll talk about the football a little bit also. First thing I'll tell you guys is that yeah, I do. I was about to say I don't have him in my main lineup, but I do. I do have Durant in my main lineup on FanDuel. I thought I didn't for some reason. Maybe I don't want him in my main lineup. Maybe that's the way to get there, for just fade Durant. Be done with it. Let me see something. I thought that I had faded him. Now I'm a little confused. So let's do this. We're going to fade this. And then we're going to so I don't know what the hell happened. Why did I? Yes, let's do this. This. And we'll go these 5 lineups in the slam. More in the slam. Okay, fair enough. Upload. I don't know why what happened to my lineups here. It's all very confusing. Let me try this one more time. I'm going to go, then we will talk about the football. I'm having trouble with my CSV file here. Do it this way. How about this? All right, let's start over. So here are these lineups. We're going to download these. That's one. Then we're going to download the slams, which is here. We're going to download the big one, which is here. Okay. So then we're going to do this. We're going to put this. Okay, so now we'll put the big one here. I don't know why it didn't order them right, but and then we'll do this. Put the slams here. And we're going to put the all 20 here. Good. $636, right? This one? So what's the problem here? Why can't I? Just want to make sure my main lineup doesn't have the Durant. Then I know I did it right. Okay, good. Now we're good. Now let me get some, do some questions. I will do football in a moment. Can you place a bonus with Durant instead of? Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's fine, believer. Let me just do my DraftKings. We'll fix this. Boom. I think that'll do it. I already did one at 637, right? So I'm going to X out some of these McBride characters and things like that, right? Claxton, Duke, Rose, Turner, Sengun, Duarte, Payne, Crowder, Brissett. All right, all this is good, including this one. Cam Johnson, that's an interesting play. Duarte, Levert, okay. Because this is going to be my DraftKings. Okay. And this is the slate. So I'm just going to replace that. And then I'm going to update the football. I'll let you know what the update looks like, and then I'm going to do my footballs, and then I'm going to get out of here. Hopefully all within 20 minutes. Again, sorry I can't field as many questions, Bobby. I'm just kind of just doing this. Actually, what I can do, I can actually take, so Hayes, Cunningham, Diallo, Bay, and Stewart. I don't know if you saw that. Pacers starters. Wanamaker is starting. Levert, Holiday, Sabonis, and Turner. So who is not? So Duarte is not starting. Okay. So that's actually interesting. Okay. So now I am going to update the footballs. While I also maybe I don't think I'm gonna. I think I'm gonna still play some Duarte. Because Wanamaker just is gonna have. I guess he's gonna be forced to have the ball, right? Be starting point guard. I definitely don't think I like that Bobby's. I don't think I like Bobby's under with assists with Sabonis anymore. let's see. Oops. So what I'm doing is I'm just I'm updating the football projections. Take me about probably 5 minutes. And then I'm going to update the lineups. Should be another 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So whole thing should take me about 15 minutes, which will take us to the end of this. And then maybe I'll have 5 minutes for questions. It's one of the reasons why I have to get these lineups in early so I can do this other stuff. Okay, so a couple more here. This is the behind the scenes look, sort of. Should be of no interest to you, but I'll let you know when I'm done with it, at least what it says. And I'm already done with the hockey. I got a lot of Tampa, if that matters to you guys. And we got Survivor coming up this weekend. I'll just kind of let you know we're going to probably have Arizona. I was able to save them, and it's going to make our lives a little bit difficult. It's definitely going to make our lives a little bit difficult in future weeks, but that's what we're doing. And believe it or not, it's actually the more aggressive play to take Arizona this week, even though they're the big 13-point favorite, because of how difficult it's going to make our lives a little bit later. But I'll get into that a little bit. I'll get into that either this week or next week. But it's going to be a good game, this football game tonight. And currently, my big lineup, I have Byron Pringle captain. So we'll see how that works out. He just doing that opens up just so much in the other positions. I was afraid that was going to be the case, but it's just something. The numbers just pan out that way, which is why you don't always need your captain to be the highest scoring player, especially if it's going to open up. Oops. If it opens up for all these other studs. And one thing I do believe from this game is that it's going to be a game decided by the main players. I don't think there's going to be a lot of, Albert Gore or whatever his name is, a lot of shenanigans going on. It's a huge, huge game for both of these teams, because you have Kansas City, who beat they lost to the Chargers already, and they're one game up. So, if the Chargers can get this W somehow at home, it gives them, a head start, and it really gives them the front runner for the division, which is huge. Get that home game. Might even get a first round bye. Okay, so let me just run this now. NBA. Okay, let me just run this football. Run this football, and I'll show you what I have. And then, but again, the projections are so not irrelevant, but they're so less important than construction and randomizing in the football. And I'll show you what they look like, but projections. But it's so much more about construction. All right, let's look at DK first. So DK, what we're going to do is we're going to just chop off all the zeros. Let's see what this looks like. So nobody really shows up as like a huge like cheapo, like maybe Justin Jackson, you know, Jalen Guyton. I mean, like he's very, very, very speculative. Save that. Let's do FanDuel. We'll chop off the zeros. FanDuel, again, it's a stupid freaking structure. Again, nothing particularly earth-shattering, but you just have to randomize them enough to get unique. That's just really what it's all about. And I'll let you know what I come up with here. First, let me update the site. May as well show you how I do that. Upload the NFL. We have separate ones for Showdown. So Showdown, boom. Place existing. And since I'm in a good mood, I'll let everybody know there before I even do my lineups. Sheets. Sheets updated. Now I'm going to, let me just check real quick if there are any important questions in here. Nope. So now let me go to my lineup builder, build some new ones with build some new ones with the new updates, which it really is not a big deal, these new updates. I'm just hoping to get a couple of more lineups that I haven't done already. Okay, so let's build these. So anything new, anything earth-shattering? I would imagine not. Let me just see. And I'm going to let you know if I'm going to continue to use Byron Pringle as the captain. I hope not, but in a sense, I hope so. And I think I'm right on pace to finish this in 7 minutes, like I said, right at 6:55. So we get one more quick look. No, this one has Herbert as the, but it's got some Parham. Yeah, I am going to use this one. Screw it. So this is what I'm going to do. All right, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go into DraftKings. This is going to be my main one. It has to be. I'm not going to use Pringle in the captain. I'm just not going to. This is not going to work for me. So I'm just going to change this one. I'll put this here. Perfect. Boom. Save that. And then we're going to upload the new ones, which was 649, which is good. And then what we're going to do is we're going to upload these new lineups here. And then we'll get a couple of more in here. Okay. And then we'll build some more, as long as the big one's not sold out yet, which it is not. So, oh, I got 10 more. Good. Okay, so let's do this one. Let's do this one. Let's do this one. So I'm still getting a couple of Pringle captains, just because it opens up so much, as I mentioned earlier. And I have some chalk too. Ooh, Jerron Williams captain. That could be fun. Pringle. Oh my God, all these Pringle captains. Okay. Now let's do the same thing with the FanDuel, which I can actually show you what I'm doing. I'm not gonna do any more or whatever. I'm just gonna I'm just going to change what I have. So let's go. I'm using Saberson for these. We're going to put, and I'll be done in 5 minutes, like I promised. Boom. Replace those projections with these. All right. We may as well get the most recent push here. Big game tonight. Definitely to catch that. Got the last MMA slate of the season Saturday until they break for the winter. I put up my breakdown for that. And hopefully COVID doesn't ravage through that sport like it has everything else. That's so chalky, but we'll do it. I don't know anybody ever takes down one of these showdowns on their own. I mean, on DraftKings. I mean, on FanDuel. 5 slots, and you get no defense, and just less to choose from. Let's do this. Then we'll do this. And that. I do think I have more Mahomes than Herbert. Let's take a look at it. Yep. Okay, let me get a quick look for any questions. Looks like none. So, Sheets, do you make any to your best balls? I've never played best ball in my life. I don't even know the rules. So maybe next season. All right. Good luck. And Timothy, who I got winning the football game tonight? Chargers. I have at least a 50.1% chance of confidence in there. All right. Good luck, everybody. And yeah, that'll do it. Oh, Randall or Sabonis better? No opinion. I think it's the same.